In this quick video, we'll be taking a look at how a clinician in a group practice setting in Therapyzen can set their own default service types and service type rates. Now, if you're an independent clinician in Therapyzen and you're not in a group practice setting, it's just you, you would just use the normal method of setting up your service types, which is coming over here to settings and manipulating your service type descriptions, your rates, your durations, and whatnot. And we have another video that describes how to do that if you are just a single clinician in your practice, not a group setup where you've got multiple clinicians and counselors. Now what we want to do here is if you are in a group practice setting and there's multiple clinicians, you'll want to go in and be able to set your own default service type that gets used for appointments that get scheduled if you typically have one type of service that you're performing over and over. So you want to be able to set that default for any new appointments that come up, and also go through all your service types and be able to set custom rates based on what you charge for different types of services. So you can see I'm logged into Therapyzen right now. I'm currently in the settings menu and I'm looking at just the practice-wide service types. So what I want to do now is I actually want to go to my profile in the system and set some of my own defaults and set my own custom rates as well. So to do that, all you need to do is go to my staff profile or go to my profile in Therapyzen, and I do that by clicking on this little icon here in the header, and that'll take me to my profile. Okay, and when my profile loads up, as you know, it always leads me here to the availability tab. I can set up my appointment availability, but there's this tab here halfway over. It's called service type. So I'm going to click on that. And as we're looking at this grid, you see it's very similar to the service type setup in settings, but this one is just specifically catered to me. And what I can do here is I look down at this service types list, and if there's one I want to set as the default or change any rate to, I just simply click this edit button over here to the right. You see currently I've got psychotherapy 45 minutes set as my current default for any new appointments that get scheduled, and my rate is $100 for that. But let's say I wanted to go ahead and set it to the psychotherapy 60 minute at $140. So I will just click edit here, and the first thing I can do is I can go ahead and change the rate. So if I wanted to bump that up here to say 150, and then I'm going to check this box to set as my default service type for any new appointments, and I'll go ahead and click save. Upon doing so, you see the green check mark here. It moved down to this particular service type, and my rate got updated as well. Now I can go through here and change my rate for any of these service types, and it'll override what the practice uses as their defaults for all of these service types. So as an example, if just general psychoanalysis is set up as $100 in the system for the practice on a generic level, if I click and override this and change it to 120, anytime an appointment gets scheduled for me specifically using this service type, it'll use the rate that I apply here. So now that I've got this set up, I've got my default psychotherapy 60 minutes at 150 for 60 minutes. Let's go over to the calendar and just verify that that's kicking in for us. So if I come over here to the calendar, okay, and here's the group practice calendar. So you see all the clinicians listed here on the left. Here I am up at the top, and just as a test, I'm going to go ahead and schedule an appointment here at 11 a.m. with one of my clients. I'll double click there, select a client, and there it is. So psychotherapy 60 minutes at my rate of 150. And it doesn't matter whether I schedule the appointment or if we have a scheduler that schedules it using their calendar. As long as they're selecting me as the clinician, these are the defaults for me no matter what. So you can see how that's really helpful if you're scheduling appointments for multiple clinicians within your practice. You're not having to override, or they are not having to override the service amounts and whatnot, because everybody works a little bit differently or has different rates depending on what service type they might be performing. So that's a quick look at how you set your own custom service type rates as well as set your own default.